What can you say to this other than absolute bullshit? Do you know what is the status of our family? Do you know what is my son's qualification? Do you know what is his position? Your mother in law was exploiting you for nothing. You were putting up with everything, hoping that after venting all her anger, she will leave from here, giving you peace. And often, like you, didn't deserve all this. Hundreds of rich millionaires' daughters are still lining up for my son. He's your husband now only because he's a son who respects his father's words, and not because of the deep love he felt for a girl like you. Those words that made your eyes moist were true, the truth that you often felt. Limiting the conversation to just one or two words, and willingness to speak openly in a situation where it is possible, focusing on laptop all the time, ignoring the person at home. You have often felt that office pressure suggests some reasons to avoid you. You wiped your tears with your fingertips. True, I am his stepmother, but I see him as my own son. He knows that too. That's why he assigned me to come here and say something like this. You looked at her suspiciously, wondering what she was going to say. He is not in the habit of defying his father, so he can't openly tell him about this. He wants you to free him from this relationship which he does not want to continue. You held your arms up to support your body at the couch that was right next to you as your heart was aching at her words. It's not wrong for him to think like that because his life is not something that needs to be confined to you. You know it very well, then you should do such a good deed and express your gratitude towards him. She just knows seeing your tears. I'm leaving now. Don't trouble my son too much. Logging your whole heart in the tunnel of sadness, she left from there. You slowly took your seat on the couch. I really hate myself for holding on to this. I should have backed away out of this marriage. But if you had told me all these things at the beginning without giving me that hope that everything will be alright someday, I wouldn't have been so upset. Since you have no one to tell your troubles to, you said all this to yourself. Do you know how long I have been working on this? Once they are convinced of this project, we won't have to think about profits for the next few years. I'll present it at the meeting this evening and must get it somehow or it will be the biggest loss of my career. Everything will be fine, sir. You're working really hard. And sir, we have 2 more meetings left for the afternoon. I'm not even getting time to look back on my life. When can I find an end to these rushes? It is now much later than when he usually comes home from the office, but you waited for him to discuss about what his mother said and to make a decision on it even though it's heartbreaking. While you were wiping away your tears, you heard the sound of the doorbell ringing. You opened the door and you were actually shocked at first because your husband is standing outside with red eyes, a sweaty body, and his shirt is completely red. You have never seen him like that before. What happened to you? You asked, pushing aside those thoughts that had been in your mind until a while ago. He walked in without saying anything, but you could smell alcohol from him. Are you drunk? He stopped midway and turned around hearing your question. Yes, I am. You have nothing to lose with it, but I have so much to lose and I'm losing one by one. You felt like he's really meaning something, and also what his mother had said in the morning had something to do with it. But you walked up to him and said, "We can talk about this tomorrow. Now go to sleep. It's better. Why should I talk to you about it? Okay, if you don't want to, then don't. Now go. He then walked forward without saying anything, but as he started climbing the steps, his feet were tripping. Thinking he will fall, you quickly went and held his shoulders and supported him to the room. You walked over to the bed and tried to make him sit gently, but by the time you sat him down, he flipped onto the bed and your hand was on his shoulders, causing you to fall on top of him too. When your faces came terribly close, you turned your face to the other side and tried to pull your hand away from him behind him. You gasped in the middle of your efforts because now both of his hands were wrapped around your waist. You looked at his face again. What are you doing? He rolled over in an instant. As a result, now you're under him now. But he didn't have the strength to lift his head because of his drunkenness, so his head was now on the crook of your neck. You tried to push him away, but the few words he whispered in your ears in the meantime stopped you. I want to stay like this. I feel so peaceful. Your scent is calming me down. Don't know what you heard is true. Don't know what you are doing is right or wrong. You hugged him, wrapping your hands. With extreme headache, he slowly opened his eyes. Also, the sun rays hitting his face stronger than usual. He sat up on the bed and looked at the wall clock. It's already past his office time. He immediately tried to get off the bed but stopped as he realized He just sat back on the bed and covered his body with the dirt. Why am I like this? What happened yesterday? He slowly started to think about the things that happened last night. A few things flashed through his mind, like him walking into the house, talking to you, and falling into bed. And yeah, that thing. I should not have done that. What will she think of me? She is not even close to me and I did such a wrong thing. How can I face her now? How I'm gonna start talking about this? He rubbed his forehead with his fingers. Even while cutting the vegetables, your whole mind is on what happened yesterday night. Still, you don't know whether it is right or wrong. Also, those words he said to you is still making you confused. Your attention was drawn to the stairs as you heard footsteps, and of course, it was your husband. He comes down the steps and he takes one look at you and he brings his eyes down again. You thought he will be going to office even though he was late, but he is wearing normal clothes that he wears at home. He walked into the living room and sat on the couch. You walked over to him with his usual morning cup of coffee. After handing it to him, you started walking back, but why? Before turning around to look at him, the only thing you wished in your mind was there must be some truth to what he said last night. You noticed he was struggling to look into your face and also struggling to find words too. I drank too much last night. It's because I lost a project I was dreaming of. I couldn't bear it and I remember what happened after coming here and I remember everything. He also felt a lot of shame thinking about it. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. It was a mistake. I should not have done such a thing. Your body started to shake. Yes, he was wrong. His words were never true, and in fact, you felt so ashamed, humiliated, and disgusted with yourself. Anyway, I know there is no point in apologizing after it happened, but I'm really sorry. You took the coffee cup and went outside. You covered your mouth with your palm so that he wouldn't hear you cry, and you slowly backed away. God, why do you give me such trials again and again in my life? I'm doing wrong over and over again. My life has no meaning at all. Why am I ruining his life by staying in this house? I should leave. As soon as he got out of the bed, he walked in the room, talking to someone on the phone. I'll come right now. Ask them to wait for 10 minutes. I'll be. He paused, took one look at your face, and then walked up to his closet, took a dress, and went to change. But what made you suspicious was that after putting on the dress, he took some more dresses from the closet, took a bag, and packed it. He could guess what your question would be by seeing your posture. I have to go on a quick business trip and I'll be back in a few weeks. I'm going. He left. All you could do was stare at everything like a statue with a weary heart. You sat there exhausted again, thinking of the fact that you couldn't discuss it with him anymore and the days were getting longer. After throwing up for the 5th time, you came out of the washroom. You were very tired and sat on the bed. You placed one hand on your stomach and opened your palm of the other hand, and tears started pouring like rain, seeing the positive pregnancy result on the strip. How am I going to tell this to him? Suddenly your eyebrows furrowed in fear. No, I shouldn't tell him about this. What if he asks for an abortion? I can't. No, I'll leave this house saying goodbye to him. Yes. You were slowly walking down the stairs. Suddenly you heard someone opening the door and you looked over there to find your husband walking in. The door wasn't locked. Oh, I didn't notice that. You were still reluctant to look at your face. You were standing in the stairs and he started climbing the stairs to go to the room. As he walked past you, you called him from behind. Django, I have a few things to talk about. Sure, but I am back from a long trip and I'll freshen up and come back soon. You took a deep breath and nodded. He came back getting freshened up and sat on the couch. You also took your seat opposite to his. So all I have to say is that I know very well that I'm an extra burden in your life. So I'm leaving this house for your sake. I'm not ready to ruin your life from here on out like this. So you decided to leave? You nodded without looking at his face. Then what about our baby?